You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
You said
For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true.
No, they eat. That is not bull. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of elites who preyed on was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is real.
To stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. T.D. there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Hey. Because they said that too about the good bishop.
Jason Lee isn't just stirring controversy. He's running from something bigger than headlines after digging far past the surface of the official Epstein records and allegedly uncovering names that were never meant to be exposed. According to him, the Department of Justice released only fragments, carefully trimmed and strategically incomplete, while the real list, the dangerous one, remains buried. For years, Jason Lee has been relentless about this scandal, circling it, questioning it, warning people that powerful figures were still protected. If anyone would know which celebrities allegedly visited that island and what truly happened behind closed doors, many believe it would be him. When the DOJ finally released the long-withheld files after what felt like a calculated game of delay and distraction, the internet erupted instantly. Names like Bill Clinton, Trump, Steve Bannon, Kevin Rudd, Naomi Campbell, Push AT, and Jay-Z spread across timelines like wildfire. But insiders insist that was only the surface layer. Beneath those names were emails, photographs, and alleged recordings that seemed to validate the victims' accounts in chilling detail. Rumors intensified claims that some victims mysteriously vanished, others were silenced, and whispers of grotesque practices tied to youth and power began circulating again. The deeper people looked, the darker it felt, as if the public had only been handed a preview of something far more disturbing lurking underneath, when speculation turns toward which celebrities may have been entangled in this alleged nightmare. Chrissy Teigen repeatedly becomes a focal point of online suspicion. Critics point to her visible cosmetic transformations over the years, suggesting an intense fixation on preserving youth, but it was the resurfacing of old tweets that truly ignited controversy. At the time they were posted, most dismissed them as edgy humor, random shock value that barely registered. Now, in a different context, they read differently to some observers. References to toddlers and tiaras, bizarre comments about babies, and strangely worded jokes have been pulled back into the spotlight, dissected frame by internet detectives who believe nothing is accidental. Adding fuel to the speculation is discussion around alleged coded language. According to widely circulated interpretations of an FBI report, certain words are believed to function as signals in hidden networks. Hot dog, allegedly meaning boy; pizza, girl; cheese, little girl; pasta, little boy; ice cream, male; walnut, person of color; map, male bodily fluid; and sauce, group encounters. Whether coincidence, dark humor, or something far more sinister, the conversation refuses to die. And if Jason Lee is right, if there are still unreleased names and sealed evidence, then what the public has seen so far may not be the full scandal at all, but only the calm before a far more explosive revelation.
For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true. In this email to Jeffrey Epstein, it says, all you need is a blood transfusion from the pack and you reverse aging. This is where adrenochrome comes into play. It is a real chemical compound found in the when the body is in a fight or flight situation. And we know that the kids that were involved in Jeffrey Epstein's network were definitely put into fight or flight. And of course, we've seen Hollywood elites like Chrissy Teigen tweet about how they're going to a party where they're serving up 4-year-old cheese pizza with adrenochrome and, of course, the eye emoji. And according to the FBI code words, cheese stands for little girl and pizza stands for girl. Now back to the email. The subject is Dr. Agus, a professor of medicine and biomedical engineering at USC, pretty local to Hollywood. He is also the founding director and CEO of the Ellison Medical Institute. You know, the medical institute funded by Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok. And he's also hosted a Paramount show with big celebs like Ashton Kutcher and Oprah Winfrey. If you know,
you know. And just when people thought the controversy had already hit rock bottom, an old interview featuring Chrissy Teigen resurfaced and exploded across social media, reigniting outrage all over again. In that clip, she made a statement that viewers are still debating, casually suggesting on camera that she would be willing to taste human flesh. Yes, she said it publicly, and the moment has since been replayed, dissected, and amplified by critics who argue it adds another disturbing layer to the growing storm around.
The person okayed it. I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of meat.
No. I think the only way
you wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Real?
And just when it seemed the storm couldn't grow any darker, Oprah Winfrey was suddenly pulled into the fire. Online investigators began circulating alleged receipts, claiming her all-girls academy in South Africa was somehow entangled in something far more sinister than anyone imagined. From the moment Oprah opened the school, controversy seemed to follow like a shadow. Reports of students allegedly being kidnapped, accusations of SA, and even horrifying claims about newborns discovered in trash bins. For those unfamiliar, the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls opened its doors in 2007, celebrated as a beacon of hope. But critics argue that since its launch, strange and deeply troubling incidents have continued to surface, each one fueling suspicion and fear rather than reassurance. One of the earliest scandals involved dorm matron Virginia Tiny Makopo, who was charged with 13 counts of SA, sending shockwaves through the institution. Oprah Winfrey personally traveled to South Africa, issuing public apologies and attempting to contain the damage, but the controversy refused to fade. Then in 2011, another disturbing headline emerged: an infant allegedly found concealed in a student's bag, intensifying scrutiny once again. The narrative took an even darker turn when late American actor Isaac Kappy publicly accused Oprah Winfrey of building the school to secure an alleged supply of children for occult rituals. Not long after making those explosive claims, Isaac Kappy was found dead, a sequence of events that conspiracy circles point to as chilling and far too coincidental to ignore.
Oprah is a slave trader. Oprah is a slave trader. Let that sink in. It's 100% true. Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader. Why do you think she has that school in South Africa? Why does she hang out with who she hangs out with? Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader.
Then there was the moment that still replays in people's minds, when Bill Gates sat on national television and was asked whether he regretted his relationship with Epstein. He paused, measured his words, and insisted their interactions were minimal, nothing meaningful, nothing worth concern. But critics say that answer didn't match what later surfaced. When the Epstein files were released, they allegedly included photographs of Bill Gates with Epstein alongside young women. And even an email in which he reportedly asked Epstein for antibiotics to secretly give Melinda after allegedly contracting an STD during trips involving Russian women. The claims ignited outrage. Years later, in 2021, Melinda finalized her divorce from Bill Gates, walking away with more than $29.6 billion, a separation many online commentators now view through an entirely different lens. And when people list the celebrities most entangled in controversy, Jay-Z is impossible to ignore. He isn't only rumored to have indirect ties within Epstein's orbit, critics also point to his past business relationships with Diddy and R. Kelly. Despite public allegations surrounding R. Kelly and his illegal relationship with 15-year-old Aaliyah, Jay-Z went ahead with a joint album collaboration, a decision that still sparks backlash. He also maintained professional ties with Diddy for years, up until mounting legal troubles placed Diddy under intense scrutiny. Through it all, one voice has consistently claimed to be sounding the alarm: Jason Lee. At one point, after not receiving an invitation to Beyoncé's Renaissance film premiere, Jason Lee publicly threatened to release alleged unreleased evidence involving Beyoncé and Jay-Z, escalating tensions and suggesting that even bigger revelations could still be waiting in the shadows.
I've done a lot, and I'm not even going to say it here because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, would go crazy. I'm going to tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now.
For those of y'all who didn't know, Jason Lee and Diddy actually shared a business connection. Jason Lee had his own show on Revolt TV, the network founded by Diddy, which placed him closer to that powerful circle than most outsiders ever realized. And according to Jason Lee, the parties Diddy allegedly hosted weren't just glamorous celebrity gatherings, they were tightly controlled, ultra-exclusive events filled with high-profile names, including Beyoncé and Jay-Z. He claimed security at these parties was beyond extreme, sometimes described as military level, brought in to guarantee that no one could sneak inside or secretly capture photos. But right after this,
the military to stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. Was there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Because they said that too about the good bishop. This is what I hate about the internet. If you say it is true, if you think it is true.
Jason Lee rushed back to his show and revealed that he had been receiving death threats. Jason Lee said the only reason he was even speaking about it publicly was so that if anything ever happened to him, everyone would already know who he believed was responsible.
Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know, you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping and sharing on TikTok. Watch this. Do your thing, TikTok. Jay-Z and Beyonce is going to see this. I am exhausted with people calling me about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You've never called for anything else, and I haven't even said anything about you yet. And yet I'm getting all these.
But it's clear that whatever warnings or threats Jason Lee claims to have received haven't silenced him. The Instagram blog he owns, Hollywood Unlocked, continues to push updates about the Epstein case relentlessly, posting developments, resurfacing documents, and amplifying reactions in real time. And it doesn't look like he plans to slow down anytime soon. Meanwhile, the public has been flooding comment sections with their own theories. One person wrote, "Epstein may be dead, but that kind of evil doesn't disappear. It just gets replaced." They went on to suggest that someone else is likely carrying on the same darkness behind closed doors, simply smarter and not yet exposed. Another commenter added, "I'm about to say something people won't like." A lot of those celebrities named in the files are suddenly the loudest voices speaking out about IC issues, trying to polish their image and look morally superior. They don't actually care. That's why they're tucked away in gated mansions surrounded by private security. But no one wants to admit that. Now the question shifts to you. What do you make of all these celebrities being linked to Epstein's island? Do you believe these connections mean something deeper, or is the internet running wild with speculation? And what about Jason Lee? Do you think his outspoken stance has truly placed a target on his back, or is this part of a larger media storm feeding itself? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And before you go, click here to dive into the next explosive, messy video that's already sparking heated debate.